It's been a little over 24 hours since it stopped raining. Everything's saturated out here. We got some rehydrated soybeans, but I don't care. We gotta get them out of the field. About 370 acres to go, and 4 days before the next storm system comes in. Let's get it. All right.
Go.
Ah. I tell you what, these beans might have finally matured, but they sure ain't dead. There's a ton of, well, all the replanted stuff you know, all the replanted stuff. I mean, it still got green stems. It can still got leaves out there. The pods have finally dried down, but man, the beans just don't want to quit this year. That's kind of what a drought in the summer and then abnormally warm fall will do for you. I'm actually shocked they're not quite as wet as I was expecting. I was expecting 20 plus, and they're coming in at about 19% plus moisture. So better than what it was the other day when we started cutting. So we'll throw them in the bin, run air on them, and hopefully we can dry them out there in the bin, because I know we sure ain't gonna be drying them out in the field anytime soon. So, and it's definitely muddy out here, but this combine's pretty good in no-till on floating on top of the soil, and you know, we might track it up a little bit, but on this farm I'm not concerned, because the vast majority of this farm we're going to come in next spring and plow it up to really smooth it out, because it's rough as a cob for being in pasture all those years. So I'm really not too concerned if we do cut a few ruts over here, but so far I mean, it's leaving cleat marks and stuff, but it's not leaving any ruts. I am concerned with getting the truck in and out, though. It don't take much to get a semi-truck stuck, so I'm hoping Andy will be able to do some maneuvering and be able to get the truck in here to where we can dump and not have to dump on the road, because that's a kind of a dangerous proposition that I don't want to face. Yeah, this is a wet old farm. We still got some standing water here. There's another look at that ditch down through there from the other end, and yeah, I got plenty of dirt right here I can rob and shave off to carry in that upper spot. And then probably, you know, got some areas like here, got some areas over here. Probably going to have to go get the PTO ditch here and run a few run a few shallow ditches to get all of it to drain like I want it to. Well, we're not tracking it up too bad at all. There's a couple little muddy spots, but overall, hold combine up real good. Got word from the landlord they're going to approach the cell phone company about finally getting this tower taken down. Hopefully we can make it happen this winter. Man, it's nice to see some good beans. I hadn't seen beans this good in quite a while. It's not over the whole farm, but this little area right down here, pretty dang stout. Not bad for first year production. Not bad at all for first year production. Well, the new Mastercraft MXT tires, I ain't quite cutting it there on the service truck. Come on forward. Let's see this old 2500 can yank her out.
Yeah, I will.
All right. Put in neutral, put in 4 low, see if that engages a lock, or is traction control on?
The problem is traction control goes off on 4 low. So I don't know how to.
All right.
Go.
Ah. I forgot Kelly took the tractor back to get the truck. I guess we're going to have to hook it to the combine here. Well, that's the first for me, pulling something out with the combine.
I hope it's the last. I'm gonna leave the chain.
Yeah, better leave the chain in the back. I doubt it's gonna be the last time. You know, never in my life would I have imagined that I'd be cutting green stem beans in the freaking middle of November. I mean, there between the green stem beans and the cover crops I'm clipping off, there ain't no dust coming out the back of my combine. It ain't nothing but green material. This has been the strangest fall I've ever seen. I mean, we still haven't seen a killing frost. We've seen a light frost back in October, but you know, our average frost date for this area is usually around the middle of October, even though here in recent years it's been trending later. But to go to the middle of the 15th without having a killing frost, I can't remember when that's happened. And then, you know, just this whole year, it's either been intensely wet or intensely dry with no happy medium. Like I said, it's either just been plumb saturated soils, or there's been or you know, it's been terrible drought. Just no in between. And it's cycled back and forth between you know, both kinds several times this year. You know, started out this spring was one of the driest springs that I can remember until the middle of May, and then we had literally 3 weeks of solid rain. Literally 3 weeks of solid rain. And then summer we had periods of drought. We got just enough rain to get us by without severely damaging the crops, even though the corn crop was hurt. And then August, I mean, you know, with 33, 34 days without a drop of rain, really hot, bone dry. And then we got hurricane number 1 there in late August, 1st of September. You know, we lost a week there, just really wet. Then went through another, I think about a three week dry spell, no rain. Then we had another hurricane, wet a week. You know, just couldn't get anything done in the fields. And then all of October was literally bone dry. Went like almost another 30 days without any rain. And now, I mean, the ground's plumb saturated again. There's been no happy medium this year whatsoever. And the end result has been the best looking below average crops I've ever seen. And then harvesting, you know, 19-20% beans in the middle of November, just because we got more rain coming. I hope we get some sense of normalcy back next year. Alright, second move of the day. We just got moved over here to Pete's farm. We got the service truck stuck again, trying to get the header loaded. I'll tell you what, I hate mud. I absolutely despise it. But I've got a feeling we're just about done for the day. Ain't no breeze stirring. I mean, it's already wet, and we had a heavy dew this morning. I expect another one tonight. But we're going to push this thing as long as we possibly can till we start pushing piles up everywhere, because we got to get the acres covered. Grand total, the soybeans have dried down today from about 19% to 18%. Just goes to show you this time of year, it's stuff just don't dry out. There ain't enough daylight hours. There ain't warm enough temperatures for stuff to dry out. Man, let me give y'all a view of that sunset though. Woo! Wish I had the drone up right now. That'd be a pretty shot. No, it don't get no better than that right there. I have absolutely no idea how I'm still cutting. We've covered about 24 acres on this farm since I last talked to you. I mean, it's sopping wet. I mean, my combine is growling. And you really, with these soybeans, it ain't like we're pulling in a lot of material through the combine, but it's not pushing up piles. Tell you what, man, these draper headers are just absolutely amazing in tough conditions. The ability on these MacDons to be able to tilt that cutter bar up out of the wheat straw a little bit is just absolutely amazing. I know back when I was running a 2366 with a 1020 head, you know, before 2017, I dreaded cutting wheat beans every year, because as soon as the sun hit that tree line, you better be heading for the service truck, because you was done for the day. And it was such a chore cutting double crop beans every single year. But I mean, here it is. We cut, let's see, what time is it? You know, we cut a good 2.5 hours longer than I could hope to cut with a traditional auger head. But that being said, well, we're gonna have to shut down here in a minute. Well, there goes a pile right there pushed up. Yeah, it's starting to get just sopping wet out there. So anyway, we're gonna cut another couple rounds, call our day, blow the combine off, and hopefully we got a pretty decent running day coming up tomorrow. We'll see you then. All right, we're gonna try and get the truck here in the field. Today we loaded right there on the road last night because Andy was spinning, so Kelly's in the truck. I told her to come in hot. She should be able to make it. Well, she coming in hot, all right. All right, now she get turned around. Oh yeah, no problem. I think maybe it dried out quite a bit overnight.
The latest call from the National Hurricane Center. It's dropping slow right now, but it's Sunday.
Man, look at that cover crop coming up through there. I mean, it's almost solid green. This stuff's so advanced. We've literally got vetch already climbing up the soybean plants out there. I've never seen anything like that. And then mixed in with some green stems there, I mean, it looks like we're spitting silage out the back. Not hardly any dust, just pretty much green stuff coming out the back there. But if we need a good looking cover crop anywhere, it's on this farm, this old steep rolling farm, former pasture ground. It's one of those farms, I don't know, this is maybe our 5th crop on it, possibly. And before we ever put a crop on it, there was a ton of track hoe work done on it, clearing off terraces and stuff. And then I spent a solid week over here with a bulldozer pushing down terraces to make this thing more farmable. Like right where we're at was divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, was divided into 8 separate fields with steep terraces on it. Now we made it into one big field, and because it was pasture ground, really built up the soil structure. And then of course, you know, we're no-tilling and cover cropping it, you know, we don't have to worry about erosion. And then it's, in 5 years, it literally hasn't washed a bit. But pushing down all those terraces made it a whole lot more friendly to farm. Even if it is steep and rolling, at least it's not cut up and you know you're just constantly turning around and everything. Farm's so much better. But that being said, I mean, there's a lot of thin areas on this farm. Like right here, this steep hill, got some real thin soil on it. You know, we're trying to build it up just, you know, as quickly as we can, and putting carbon back in the soil, all those cover crops, is one of the good ways to do it. Here it is, 1 o'clock. We've been cutting about an hour and beans still in that, you know, 18 to 19% range. You know, after drying out for, you know, almost 2 days. I'm hoping by the time the sun goes down, maybe we'll be lucky. Maybe they'll be in that 16, 17% range, but we'll see. Well, it took a while. I finally found some fantastic double crop beans. That's the kind of numbers I'd like to see right there. Yeah, we're down here in this, I don't know, probably about 6, maybe 7 acres of this field is nice bottom, good deep soils, and then the half over there goes straight up the side of a mountain. But heck yeah, finally I got some numbers I can smile at, even if it's going to be fairly brief. You know, those are the kind of numbers I kind of gotten spoiled with, you know, the last few years. You know, I think last year we averaged, what, close to 55 bushels per acre double crop. The year before that, I don't know, maybe around 50, 51. Those kind of numbers I kind of come to expect, even though, you know, maybe they're a little unrealistic with how unpredictable the weather in August can be, which, you know, the weather in August and September, that's what determines how good double crop beans you can have. But it just goes to show you, just like I said on all the other crops, if we'd had just like one more rain, you know, a good rain in August, man, that you know, that could have made a huge difference in our bottom line this year. Just one more rain. That, you know, some people in this area got, you know, I think Dylan might have gotten that rain, and he's, if you watched him, you know, he had some really good corn yields that he was happy with. I still think he was kind of disappointed in his bean yields, but you know, he had one real good crop, whereas, you know, we haven't. And you know, I think that there's something else that really affected our yields that I didn't account for. You know, there in August when it got so dry, and then, you know, we were saved, you know, finally saved by a hurricane. Even though the beans weren't in the process of being mature yet, they could still fill out. I think what happened is that a lot of those, I think a lot of those rhizobium bacteria, you know, soybeans is a legume. It can produce its own nitrogen through a symbiotic relationship with certain species of bacteria that colonize the roots. And I think what happened, it got so dry in the soil that a lot of those bacteria, I guess, either died off or went dormant. And then by the time we finally got a rain, you know, it was enough to make the plant grow, but it was too late for those bacteria to produce the nitrogen for the soybean crop to grow. You know, you might not realize it, but it takes a lot of nitrogen to produce soybeans. I think like a 50 or 60 bushel soybean crop requires upwards of around 400 pounds of actual nitrogen. And you know, the bacteria provide that nitrogen, but if the bacteria are dead or dormant, the plant's trying to grow and fill out seed and it doesn't have the nitrogen, then it becomes nitrogen deficient, and it's like trying to grow a corn crop without applying any nitrogen. And I think that even though we had moisture there in September to make yields, I just don't think the plant was able to make its own fertility. But then when you get in deeper soils where the soybeans never really ran out of moisture, those bacteria were able to stay active, continuing to provide nitrogen to the plants. And I think that's why one of the reasons we're seeing such a big difference from our hilltops to our bottom grounds. You know, going from 15 to 25 bushels an acre to 50 to 70 bushels an acre, you know, all in the same pass. Yeah, but that's what these Pioneer 47 T64s are capable of. Even double crop, if they got the groceries to make it. Well, it took most of the day, but we finally found some dust. These beans have finally, after you know, over a day's worth of running, they've the stalk anyway has dried back down. The moisture's still running up there though. I thought it might be between 16 and 17%, but you know, by the time the sun got low in the sky, but It's I've seen a few 16s, but it's mostly between 17 and 18. But it is nice to see some dust again blowing out the back. I'm hoping we can have another good run, a good look like we did last night, because that sun's probably going to set here in about 45 minutes, and I hope we can get at least another few hours cutting in before we got to shut everything down tonight. Because we still got quite a few more acres to go before we hit my goal today. We're still on track to get done Monday with no problems, but we probably need to get at least another 30-40 acres covered today in order to stay on track. Well, no sooner did we find some dust, we've almost lost all the dust. That sun done dipped down below the trees, and let me tell you, it's getting wet in a hurry. My combine's already started growling at me. Like I said, we're not getting any dust out the back. I don't know, another 2.5 hours might be kind of optimistic for today. I was hoping to maybe watch the first half of the Tennessee-Georgia game here in the cab, but I don't know. I might be watching it on the big screen at home. I'm kind of nervous about that game. I've been kind of talking smack with one of my viewers. He's been commenting on, I don't know, a couple of videos ago. I don't know. It's going to be a toss-up tonight. I like our odds, but we could just as easily lay an egg and lose it. We'll see, though. I think a spot in the college football playoffs could very well be on the line tonight. Well, we had a mighty good run this evening. I think it's time we call it a day. I had a nice section breakdown there, and I got to take a guard off and everything. But it's pretty much gotten too wet to cut them, and we cut 2.5 hours after the sun sets. So we'll just we'll go ahead and shut her down today. We'll fix that guard in the morning, and hopefully have another big day tomorrow. So anyway, we got, I don't know, around 85, 90 acres done today. I was hoping to get like another 10 more acres done today, but we're done with the roughest farms. We're done with the small fields. Pretty much everything from here on out is, either big fields or nice flat fields. I think we'll be able to run on along pretty dang good, and hopefully we can make up those lost acres tomorrow. So anyway, get this thing blown off. See you in the morning. Now 220 acres left to go. Getting a little cab maintenance done before we get started. If there's one thing I despise, it's a nasty cab. So let the combine warm up. We'll get to rolling. Well, we've been cutting a couple hours, and you probably can't see it, but those soybean stalks is wiggling a little bit. We got a little bit of a breeze today. Definitely haven't seen it in a while. Hopefully it'll go ahead and dry all these beans out, but I mean, we're still cutting 16 to 17% beans. I mean, they're just flat out refusing to dry out. Hopefully this breeze will help a little bit. But we got kind of partly cloudy skies, not a whole lot of heat. We are back to blowing some good dust though, but if we didn't have grain bins, I mean, we couldn't be cutting beans right now, because you can't haul 17 to 18% beans to the granary unless you just flat want to give them away. I mean, the dock on them would be so severe that any hope of any kind of profit this year, would be non-existent. But fortunately, we've got grain bins, and even if the crop's not in ideal condition, we can put them in the bins. We can blow air on them. Beans generally dry down pretty easily in the bin, especially if they've already matured and dried down the first time, and have just soaked up, either moisture from rain or moisture from the dew. They can dry out pretty quickly in the bin. So hopefully by the time we haul them in January, we got enough good days that we can blow air on them and get them down, somewhere between 13 and 14% moisture is what I'm hoping. But man, I'd hate to know what my mental state would be right now, knowing I've got 400 acres of beans in the field, but and we could be cutting, but you know, the beans are too wet to actually deliver to the granary, and trying to determine, you know, how much moisture dock is acceptable versus getting them out and everything like that. You know, our job is stressful enough, we got enough stuff to, you know, we got to worry about, and any time we can add a tool to the arsenal to, you know, take some of that decision making away, just really helps improve our state of minds. And that's one of the big benefits of bins is, yeah, they do require management and stuff, but on the other hand, when you get into some tough situations, you know, whether it be low market prices like we're seeing now, or you got to get your grain out, but it's you know, the grain moisture is not there, you know, it does offer you some options to hopefully make the best of a less than ideal situation. All right, in case you're wondering what my early planted wheat looks like, you're looking at it right next door there where those red barns are. That was the second farm that we planted of wheat, and I gotta say, I'm digging the way it looks. I'm really impressed. You know, ever since I started YouTube, we've pretty much had late planted wheat, and in past years on this date, you know, my wheat would not have even been up yet, let alone be up with some early good growth on it. So I have no idea what the 2025 wheat crop is going to do, but I do know that it's off to a heck of a start, and it's got all the potential in the world. So after everything had kind of fallen flat on its face here in 2024, man, I hope the stars align, you know, the weather works with us, just that, you know, everything works with us, that we can have a really, really good wheat crop next year, because we're going to need it, because there's not going to be any reserves in the bank after this year, and we need to start building our piggy bank back up. Anyway, well, we're almost done with this 60-acre farm. We still got, I don't know, maybe another hour or so of daylight. We're gonna move across the road to Roy's house, and then to stay on track to get done tomorrow, we need to get done with that, and then also get moved to Madison County, and at the very least get a part of a 30-acre farm done over there. But I don't know. Hopefully, I was hoping that breeze would stay with us tonight, but I haven't seen those stalks wiggling down there in a little while, so I don't know if it's gone for good or not. But it sure would be nice to have that breeze, either have the breeze stick around or have some of this good cloud cover come in to keep the dew from falling tonight, keep this stuff dry just a little bit longer. Something else I want to show you about this farm. This farm is kind of the tale of two farms. This 60, I said it's a 60-acre farm, and all of it was in pasture up until about 6 years ago or so. But anyway, half of this farm, I know when I was a kid, was a cotton farm, and it had been in row crops for a good long while, and then at some point the landlord put it in pasture, raised cattle on it for probably at least 25 years or so. But the other half of this farm, to my knowledge, had always been pasture ground, and the yield on it definitely reflects the difference in soil health. Ground that's got a lot better topsoil, a lot better soil structure, more organic matter in it, versus the ground that had been, you know, plowed up in row crop for many years. It's, you know, got probably more highly eroded, less organic matter and everything else. But anyway, take a look at this yield map. Now, we're still got this little bit to cut down here, but guess which part of this farm used to grow, you know, nothing but cotton on it year after year after year? That's right, it's all of this up here. Now, this dark green part, it's down in a flat where a lot of that topsoil up here eroded to, but this right here is just as hilly as this, but the yield is much higher on it. In fact, we're seeing our highest average yield on double crop beans so far there at 42 bushels an acre. You know, all of this was probably around 30 bushels an acre, and then all this down here has been in 50 to 60 bushel per acre average for the most part. So it's not like I needed any more proof that building soil health does work. It does. It's just Only thing is, it's just a terribly long process to get to where you want to be, and we're well on our way, but we still got a long ways to go. But eventually, you know, if I can get the other half of the farm like this, I mean, my risk goes down tremendously, my profit goes up tremendously, and for me, that's the name of the game. That's what we're trying to do with our farm: reduce risk and increase profit. Well, I think we finally got all of our crappy beans out of the way. I think hopefully from here on out, it's going to be some really good beans. We got done with all our real thin hill ground, like here on Roy's house. I mean, for the most part, this is a nice big 27-acre bottom, and man, yield monitor showing 70 bushels plus almost all the way down through here. We need it because the rest of my farms were averaging there in the 30s, and we can double the yield on the, you know, remaining 170 acres. That'll help the final average out quite a bit. So I know this farm's a nice bottom field. The next farm is another 30-acre bottom, and then we get on up there to Madison County. About the 110 acres, about half of that farm is a real nice bottom, and the rest of it is pretty good hill ground. So I think they had a little bit more rain up there, so hopefully those will be really good too. But I don't know if we're going to make our target or not. The sun's just setting. We've only gotten, you know, about 5 or 6 acres cut on this 30-acre farm, and then we got to move all the way up to Madison County for another 30 acres. I don't know if we're going to get all that done tonight or not. That's about what we're going to have to do in order to be able to get done tomorrow. Now, I'm already 3/4 full. And he's going to be working a whole lot harder here on these last few farms than what he's been doing so far. Also, another news, now the sunset, we've now gotten our beans down into the 15s. It's the driest beans we've seen in over a week. Maybe tomorrow we'll finally get down to, you know, beans dry enough to take to the elevator. And good thing too, because those will be going up high in the bin. They'll take a lot longer to dry out. So hopefully our moisture situation in the bins is going to work out just about right. Well, we knocked out that farm in no time at all, a little over 2 hours, and that cloud cover really helping keep the moisture from or the dew from falling. So we're gonna get moved on up here to Tom Edwards, another 30 acres. Love to get it done. If we do that, we're definitely on track to get done tomorrow, but I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see. We're gonna give it all we got. Well, I thought we were out of the bad yields, but apparently I was wrong. We're back down into, you know, 30, 40 bushel beans, even in this bottom. I think this farm got the least amount of rain of all my farms. It's kind of stuck off over by itself. But we also changed varieties on this farm. What we had been cutting is 47A64, one of my top varieties ever. And this one is a Pioneer 4.6 variety, and I don't know, you know, a little bit shorter season. The drought might have affected it more than what it did the longer season one. That's my theory anyway. We got, you know, our last farms also got this on there. We'll see how it does over there, but not gonna lie, I'm pretty disappointed. I was hoping these would be, you know, 45 to 55 at least, and you know, it looks like it, you know, the stalk's there, but the weight just ain't there, so